Hey, party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined by Riley Hopkins for a game of Avery Alder's The Quiet Year. The Quiet Year is a map-based role-playing game depicting 1 year in the life of a quiet, post-apocalyptic community. In the days following wars with the Jackals, our community members attempt to start projects, explore their surroundings, and learn about themselves. As the clock ticks down, concerns raise, and the looming threat of the Frost Shepherds comes ever clearer until they arrive at the end of winter, ending the Quiet Year. This game is rad as hell, and I love it, and I cannot wait for you to hear it. Riley, in addition to a million other things I'll let them describe on the episode itself, is the designer of a game called Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined, which you heard last week on the show, a role-playing game about crossing worlds, mashing up fictional properties, and the friendships we gained along the way. It is such a wonderful game. As I mentioned last week, it is fully funded on Kickstarter, breezing through stretch goals. Go, back the game. It's wonderful. I cannot recommend it enough. You can find more information about The Quiet Year, Interstitial, and all of Riley's work in the show notes below. A few notes on this episode. First, a technical note that this is the first of a two-part episode. Both parts of the episode are dropping right now for your binging pleasure, but I just wanted you to know that we're going to play half the game right now and half the game next episode. Secondly, a content warning note that this particular game of The Quiet Year deals with themes of prejudice in a way that might make some listeners uncomfortable. Listeners, be advised. It is also just generally a darker, horror-tinged, mysterious game of The Quiet Year. If horror is not your bag, it might not be the episode for you. But with all that out of the way, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week I am sitting down with Riley Hopkins. Riley, thank you so much for coming on a Party of One.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I like this show and I like this game we're about to play, so I'm ready to go.
I'm so hyped. I'm appreciating your hype levels, and I am meeting them with my own hype levels because I think we're both extremely hyped. So, yes, before we dive in, why don't you take a moment and tell the audience at home anything you might want them to know about, any projects that you're working on, that sort of thing.
All right. Well, audience, you can find me at RevRybread on Twitter, and there you'll find most of my things. But the most important thing at this very moment for me is I am running a Kickstarter. I don't know if I'm running it right now, if we're going to run it in a little bit, but you can look at Kickstarter for Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined. It's a Kingdom Hearts-inspired role-playing game. And it's based and powered by the apocalypse. I'm very excited about it. You can hear it over on Adventure. You can hear it, I believe, on this show. You can also hear it at Got It Memorized. We're doing it so many different places. I'm so excited about it. And so just go check that out.
Check that out. And it's a really good game. Like, I want it said on mic that, like, it's a beautiful, it captures something really, like, primal and beautiful about, like, Kingdom Hearts, crossover comics, all of these sort of bizarre pop culture mashup things. Like, Interstitial's very good, Riley, is the thing.
You're doing my heart a good right now, and I really appreciate it. I'm very, very excited. My favorite test play of it I've done so far is where we had Killmonger from Black Panther and Winnie the Pooh invading Camino, and the whole time Killmonger's trying to radicalize Winnie. And it's just good. It's very good.
It's very good.
Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, that's the biggest thing right now. Otherwise, you can find me at Alien Happy Hour, doing the chat room, doing alienhappyhour.com, youtube.com/Alien Happy Hour. I'm doing videos over there. Thursday nights is Alien Happy Hour Wrestling Federation. Next week, as of recording, is SummerSlam. We'll be past that by the time you hear it, but maybe we'll have a new champion. Maybe it won't be Weird Al Yankovic. He's fighting Chuck E. Cheese or Vegeta for that title. Who knows?
What a dream match, really. Like, what a moment in wrestling is really. We waited so long for Charles Entertainment Cheese to get that shot at the title.
Weird Al called him in because he's an old friend as another child entertainer.
That makes sense.
But he wanted to give Goku a shot. Chucky knocked Goku out in 2 individual matches, so he got the number 1 contendership.
Oh boy, I love wrestling. All right, I don't want to get distracted talking about wrestling because we have a game to play this week. It is not Interstitial. This week we are playing The Quiet Year, about world building, community building, the struggles of a community trying to rebuild after the collapse of a civilization. It is a game about community, difficult choices, and landscapes. We are going to make decisions that are recorded on an evolving map, and we're gonna steer the community from the time of when things have first settled until the winter Jackals come and the story ends. I'm so hyped. This is gonna be so good. I'm really excited. So, I have read it. I've never played it.
So
I'm
good.
really
It's
excited.
so good. Have you played this before?
Okay. So let's dive in.
Played it
There's no
once,
character
and it was
creation. We're going to
radical.
create characters kind of as we go, as we tell the story of our community. So let's dive in. For a long time, we were at war with the Jackals. Now, finally, we've driven them off, and we're left with this. A year of relative peace. One quiet year, with which to build our community up and learn again how to work together. Come winter, the Frost Shepherds will arrive, and we might not survive the encounter. This is when the game will end. But we don't know about that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, there is an opportunity to build something. So, in front of us, we have a map. We're going to establish some of the landscape before we play. We'll update the map as we play to reflect new discoveries, conflicts, and opportunities. And throughout the game, you and I will both be drawing on the map, and it's okay to draw poorly or crudely, but we're all going to draw. We also have dice. Whenever our community starts a project, we'll place a dice on the map to note how many weeks it will take to finish. And because this is an audio medium, we'll just point to the projects and say, like, this ticks down, here's our current projects, and here's where they're at with the dice. And we also have contempt tokens when they represent tension and frustration that might arise. And we have the summary card, which will remind us what to do with each week of the quiet year and in which order. We have a deck of cards in front of us that we'll be drawing from that will give us prompts and tell us what to draw on the map and what happens to us week by week. So the first thing we have to do is establish some facts about the community and what its surroundings are like. So we'll begin with a brief discussion of the general terrain and habitat. And then from there we'll introduce one detail about the local terrain. So where do you see our community settling?
So I'm torn between two ideas. Because it doesn't say anything about the genre that we're in. It's implied fantasy, but I always have a very big hankering for like postmodern fantasy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the world has fallen to hell, but now magic is back, and that's just happening around it. People don't know.
I'm totally fine with that. I'm cool with that. That's
these
awesome.
tall buildings is. Yeah. So I'm thinking, what if we are in like, I don't know if we're in a like Chicago big city, like a destroyed ancient.
I kind of like being in like a big city, like and I think which city, like I think it's the remains of a city that seems to go on in every direction. Like for our purposes, because like there's the idea that like before transportation was a thing, you never really traveled more than a mile. So I think if we're in the middle of like a metropolitan city, buildings are going to be like that mile is going to be buildings in every single direction.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know what to do here. Like we've set up in we are in a park. There is like, yeah, there are these concrete walls on all sides of us. It just fucking goes on.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I like that a lot.
So let's both add a detail to the map to reflect what we want. A detail about the local terrain. I'm going to say, you mentioned walls. I really like I'm going to draw walls on our shared map. I have a shared map in front of us that I will post. Patreon backers will get to see the map when it's posted. I'll probably share it with everybody. It's part of the game. We'll see. The map will be posted somewhere, but I'm going to draw a big circle around the map of like a wall that has kind of like caught us in. I think there's a hole at one end.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Or there's like a gate or a hole on one end.
So this is a wall. This isn't like is this like side to side buildings, or is this like a straight up like wall?
I think it's a straight up wall. I think this is what was at one point like a walled park. Like there's like a wall that kind of runs around, and then there's a gate at maybe the south end.
Okay.
But like it was a walled kind of a park that was set up a little bit as like a nature reserve-y, like public good park, and they built a wall around it to know that like we cannot extend buildings, and also kind of probably to build buildings against the wall, but there's just a wall. Like, this is as far as we can expand.
I like that a lot. Okay, so with that idea, I'm going to run with that and like kind of introduce the city-ish element to it. I think that there are a line of sewers that exist underneath the like underneath our wall that stretch onto locations outside. So they're like what are those manholes in several locations?
Mm,
One within our like territory and others out within this, jungle of a city
I
for
love
us to
that.
approach.
I absolutely love that. That's cool as hell.
All right. So that's one each. All right.
All right, once we've added a detail, once we've each added our one detail, we declare an important resource for our community and add something to the map.
So do you want to do the snake draft and have me go first and then you on this one?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I like that.
So I think that we established that this is a forest, like a forest preserve, a nature preserve. So I think that we have some trees in our area. I think we have these, like, there's an orchard that used to be here, like a community garden, but full on like fruit trees. So I think that we have over here, I'm going to draw out some of these trees. We have both trees and fruit. So easy access to lumber.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep scribbling out these leaves.
So what? I'm sorry. What did you say the abundance was?
The abundance, I think, is. Do you want it to be fruit or do you want it to be lumber? I think both work.
I like lumber. Actually, I think I like. Yeah, I kind of like lumber because there's a sort of a contrast there of like we're surrounded by building materials, but the thing that we have is also its own way of building material. So
I
it
like
kind of
that.
sets up like an interesting challenge that like that food is not in abundance for us.
Mhm.
And I think our other one, I'm gonna go with. I think we have. I think I'm gonna put in the middle of our little park. I think adjacent to our sewer, right? Because I think
Yeah.
what it is it drains into the sewer. Is there's a tiny lake, almost more like a pond.
hmm But it's a water source. It's a
Yes,
nice.
we get a source of clean water.
I like. Does it still filter? Like, is the city still pumping long after people are gone?
Oh yeah, now that you say it, yes, absolutely. Like the city is running. There's the
hmm
buzzing of electricity in the background that like we simply do not have like steady access to.
Yeah. Well, like this
If
is like this shit is magic. Like I don't
mhm
know what this is. It's been millions of years since the city has existed, but it
mhm
does still stand.
everything is so automated that it just exists. Like it just exists in perpetuity.
That's so dope. That's so dope.
That's so good. Okay. Now that we've done that, now that we have done our abundances, we lay out our scarcities. As with we'll go in the snake order. So I will say we have an abundance of lumber and water. I think we have a scarcity of I think we have a scarcity of space.
hmm
I think I think what it is though we have like this nice walled off garden or this nice walled off park, there are massive like buildings have fallen around us.
Ooh.
Like buildings have fallen kind of into the park. Or maybe it's just one building. Maybe it's one very large building has like fallen over and like a chunk of the park is missing. So we're limited in space because things are kind of like falling on us.
Yeah.
So everything is very cramped as we kind of make space in the little bit of outdoors that we have.
That's terrifying because you don't. If one of those buildings comes down, there's nothing we can do
Oh
about it.
yeah.
Like that. That's it. That's game. All right. Then I make a scarcity too. Then you
Yes.
said so. I think our other scarcity. Hmm. I. Hmm. Okay. I think that our other scarcity is a. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Like, I think that, like, you know, we're afraid to go out there. It is so different out there.
We have a
than
scarcity of, like, security, because, like, we don't know what is out there.
Yep. And I'm going to symbolize, because, like, out there, it's so different. It's so tonally different than anything we've ever known living in this small area.
Yeah.
And to have, like, just kind of this terrifying darkness on the outside that is also still alive. Like, what does that even mean for us? So,
yeah.
Over here, I'm putting a little fog of war in front of the gate that I'm just kind of like, it's a little brush. Symbolize that kind of like, here there be dragons.
Yeah, I love it. That's super good.
Ooh, okay, yes. So since it's out there, we don't go out there often. The only thing we know is we do see yellow eyes looking into our place sometimes.
Oh, dang.
There we go.
Yep.
Scarcity of safety.
All right. So now we begin playing through our year. We have a deck of 52 cards. Basic unit of play is a week. We're going to draw a card. You're going to read it aloud, resolve it, put something on the map, and then you are going to either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. We have 52 cards. We play through by seasons. And the first card is drawn from Spring. Yes. Let's see. So you drew the second Scarcity, so it's going to loop back around to me, so I will draw the first Spring card. Draw one card. I drew the Ace of Spring. Or the Ace of Hearts. The Ace Spring. What group has the highest status in the community? What must people do to gain inclusion in this group? Or are there distinct family units in the community? If so, what family structures are common?
Oh.
Those are both very good. I'm gonna say there is one family. We are all family in the community.
Is that like a we're family now, or is that like a hey we're family, like an actual family?
I think it's we're family. I think it is. If you're here, you're family, but not in the Olive Garden sense.
Okay, I like that.
A little. I think we kind of gather around. We take some of our lumber, and we gather around a little fire that I'm drawing in the center of the park. And I think that like we are together in this. We're family, because family.
I like that.
Is a group of people that protects each other. Like, we're a group of people that looks out for each other and loves each other, and that's really all we have in this. So that's what we have. And so I've drawn a little fire, like a little bonfire in the middle of our park, and I'm going to, let's see, I can work on a project.
Yep, discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to start a project.
Some family not even consulting with everybody first. You know what? I take a contempt token.
All right, that's fine. That's perfectly valid to do.
I want to start this out right.
Yep. You could take a contempt token. This simplest represents disagreement or tension. Remains in front of you until the end of the game. If you ever want to act selfishly, you can discard that to justify your behavior. And then I can choose whether or not to take a token in response. Or you can discard a token if somebody does something that truly does something that you feel like betters the community.
I love it because it's like it's a mechanic that means nothing, but it's just like, hey, I'm mad. I want everyone to know I'm mad.
I think what I'm saying, I'm going to start the project. I think we're going to maybe not. I don't think we're strong enough. I don't think we're strong enough yet, and I don't think we'll ever be strong enough to prop this building and move it away. But I'm going to draw a series of logs against this building so that we can at least like fortify it so we know it won't collapse any further.
I do agree that that's a good thing to do. I like that.
But
So,
I understand that you feel like we should have discussed it first, and that's valid. That's fair. But
mhm.
that's the project that I want to start.
Oh, yeah, let me put this down here. So we're just fortifying, building,
Yep.
and how many weeks do you think that's going to take? How high does that dice go?
Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna roll a d6 and tell you that.
Ooh, is this very random encounters? Are we deciding things randomly now?
I rolled a 1, but I don't think it's that fast. I'm gonna say 4 weeks.
4 weeks? Gotcha,
I think it's
gotcha,
4
gotcha.
weeks.
All right. I've got it written down on the side there. Fortifying building, 4 weeks. All right. How do you do the little circle thing? There it is. All right. Cool. So that's your turn, right?
That is my turn.
All right. And I will draw a card as well. I have drawn the Nine of Spring. There are two options. A charismatic young girl convinces many to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? Start a project to reflect. Or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous actions. Why does she do this? How does the community respond? Okay, I think that there is this I think there is a charismatic young girl for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to go out there. There are eyes in the night, but we don't know what they are. We don't know who they are. And we can't just be afraid of the dark forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that Ellie I think that she is is gathering a party,
Mm-hmm.
adventure. I think her name is Remy, and I'm putting that down just so I have her name.
Mm-hmm.
Scout leader. Yeah. And she is building up a group of people to go out there. So I'm going to go over here. And I think that it's going to take like maybe 2 weeks to get that group together. Do you think?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Remy's Scouts. 2. My dog. I love you, but I need you to not. My neighbors are going into their apartment right now.
Mm.
Ellie's very upset. All right. So, I have done that, and that was resolving my card.
Yep.
And so my next move is going to be, I'm trying to decide, should I discover something new? Let's do
That sounds
that.
good.
Yeah. I think in discovering something new, we're going to introduce a situation here.
Okay.
I think one day we're by the lake, like people are gathered up over there, and we hear a knocking on that sewer cover. And we don't know whether to open her or not. And somebody, goes, does who is it? And then a voice says, like, oh, can we join? And I think there are people from the underside. And I will symbolize that by drawing, I guess, like this little purple. Yeah, and they don't look, these people are they're like purple. They
Mm-hmm.
have I think they have yellow eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like those kind of tendrily heads, but otherwise are like humanoid, bipedal.
Yeah.
It's very Mass Effect alien.
Yep. Yep.
But they're just like, "Oh, hey, what's up? We're here. Hi. Hello."
Yeah. And I think, they're here now, so by the rules of the community, they're family. Like our family has grown. And I think this is a good thing. I will not be taking a contempt token, because I am happy about this development.
Well, yeah, I marked your fortify building down 1,
Great.
and that is my turn.
Alright. On my turn, I'm going to draw my spring card. I have the 4 of spring. What important and basic tools does the community lack? Or where are you storing your food, and why is this a risky place to store things? I've been thinking about food, and I think that's what I want to, get to. I think that I think what we have, because we have all of this wood, I think what we have, let me add my little detail to the map as I explain it. I think what we have are just, wooden crates. that we've kind of like built. Play with line size a little bit.
Roll20's not known for its drawing capabilities.
Nope.
We are gonna make it work.
We're making it work. I think we have like handmade crates that we have like made ourselves, so they're not like branded with anything. They're just very basic wooden crates. And we're storing, and it's risky because they're just kind of like, there's no refrigeration. There's no, like, they're just kind of out in the open. We probably keep the boxes open because we don't really know, like, it's just us and we have the walls, so there's no reason to really, like, cover them up. And it's dangerous because they could just disappear at any time, and we don't really have a way to, like, stop that from happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just out. It is just there in the open.
And I think I am going to... I think I want to hold a discussion.
All right.
So, Remy Scouts.
Yes.
Where do we think they're headed? That project is very near completion, and the discussion I want to have is, do we think, now that there's a party, do we think that, like, we should just let her go and let her see what she comes back with, or, like, do we use that? You know, do we tell her where to go, and do we take advantage of this?
So are you starting with a question, or are you starting with a declaration?
I'm going to start with the question. Do we trust Remy?
My answer is yes, we do trust Remy. Like, she hasn't failed us before, and while it is frightening to try to go out there, if she wants to do it and people volunteer to do it, more power to her. I trust her guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your way in?
We're not a community that is built on breaking off. And so, like, we're all family together. And so to have someone say, like, I want to go off separate from everyone, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to, like, gather up other people that want to do that, I'm primarily worried not about, like, a seat of power, but just that, like, I'm worried that we're stronger together, and that breaking off and spreading ourselves thin is an easy way to be susceptible to something horrible.
The bad thing about our discussion is we don't get to say more than that.
Nope, that's it.
I love that so much.
Oh, this game is so good. Oh, gosh. Okay. Then that means it is, everything ticks down.
I already ticked them down for you.
All right, then. It is now your turn.
All right. Let's do that. Click to draw. Did I draw? No, I accidentally right-clicked. Come on. Boop. I have drawn 2 of spring. There's a large body of water on the map. Where is it? What does it look like? Or there's a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it? Why is it abandoned? So what do we do if we've answered both these questions?
I think...
Because I can think of a new body of water.
We can either think of a new body of water or a new building, or you could use the body of water or building we have and answer, especially with the building, you could answer, like, a detail about the inside of this building.
I think that's good. I think I want to do that. I think the large building that has fallen on us, like this long kind of, that we're working on fortifying right now, as we're fortifying it, we're kind of getting in there. And while it is sideways now, these were very steady studio apartment spaces that were in here at one point. And so, some you have to climb into now, but, they have wall space, which is now floor space. Mm-hmm. I think that this building could be made into a new apartment complex, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's spaces that we could live in there.
And so I'm going to visualize that by putting some squares, some of this grid action, onto here. I think it's, still like, is this structurally stable? Who gets the bigger rooms? Like, but it is an option for covering right now, and that's safety.
Mm-hmm. It will protect us from the elements, from danger. I mean, there's a lot of options, and our community is growing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you want to discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion?
Glad you asked. I do want to hold the discussion. I'm going to start with a statement. These... I'm going to play heel here.
All right.
The the people that came from the sewers are not part of the same family that we are. They require different things. Are they are different. I don't feel like they should move into the apartment once we move in.
I feel like different needs are different needs. That doesn't preclude them from being part of the family. And if we deem that the family should move in, then we should move in. That's it. That's my statement.
Yeah, that's it. And with that, our clocks tick down. Remy's scouts hit 0, so we got to resolve that. And the fortifying the building will be done next week.
All right.
So, resolving Remy. Who does that? Is that me, since I technically started it, or?
Let's see. If a project finishes early, it is on the active player. So you tell me.
All right. I think she goes out. I think she has a group of maybe 6, 7 individuals. They are all these kind of late teens, early 20s individuals. And, we suit them up the best they can. We have some rudimentary wooden weapons. They found some knives and stuff in the fortified building.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go out. I think some of our underdweller friends join them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of head off into the fog one night. And they are not coming back yet.
Yeah.
So they're out there now.
So why don't we put a project down for exploring the outside?
Yeah, part of me wants them to be back pretty soon, but I also just like the idea of them being gone for a month.
I think I like a month. Let's go with 4 weeks. I think that's solid.
All right, there you go.
All right. It is my turn. I'm going to draw a card. Draw my 1 card. I drew the Queen of Spring. What's the most beautiful thing in this area, or the most hideous thing in this area? I know the most beautiful thing. I'm gonna draw it just outside the wall. There is a golden statue of an angel that was built in the before times.
We've named the angel, right? What is the angel's name?
The angel's name is the Watcher behind the wall.
I like that.
She watches. She just looks over. We see her on the other side of the wall, and it is a reminder that though the world outside is scary and unknown, that there is hope and there is potential and there is a possibility of something better. Maybe Remy grew up by the wall. Maybe that was where she spent her time. Because it kind of embodies that idea, right? That idea that maybe it's not all terror out there.
I like that a lot.
And we're gonna work on our projects, which means that our fortifications are complete.
Yes, they are.
And I've already drawn them on the map. So you're supposed to draw it on the map when you complete the project, which I'll remember that going forward. So why don't, as I explain this, why don't you add something on the map for the exploration, or for her crew, her posse?
You're right. I will draw out here. I will kind of symbolize that via, maybe via this kind of like a knife, no, the watch on the wall. It'll be a gold. It'll be a golden eye.
Yeah, I like that. So, we've kind of, like, propped the building up with some very elaborate wooden structures. Like, some very elaborate, like, wooden wedges and pillars. And we don't know if it'll hold because it's steel and concrete, but, like, it's holding for now, and that's maybe the best we can get. Like, it's wedged in there pretty well. If the wood holds, if the concrete holds, those are different questions, but it's holding for now, and that's what matters.
Heck yeah.
And, let's see, as far as, I want to discover something new, and say, I think we have discovered that a corner of the wall has started to crumble away. We don't know why or from what, but it doesn't even necessarily seem like it is like broken. It just seems like it's crumbling.
Mm-hmm. It just one day it's not as sturdy as it was the last day.
Yeah. All right. That's my turn.
That is something we have to deal with. The Seven of Spring. Where does everyone sleep? Who is unhappy with this arrangement and why? What natural predators roam the area? Are you safe? I want to answer, though, where does everybody sleep? But actually, no, we're going to go the natural predators in this area. So, we mentioned before that, there's the gold watcher on the wall. There are also the golden eyes that look in through the fog at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that while we're in this building, we are, kind of setting things up. There are people who are starting to, like, explore deeper into it. Be like, oh, maybe we could live here. And there's somebody who, goes from these top floors that we're in to some of the lower floors that reach outside of our walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, if this is a scene, we see the camera following them down, like, kind of like the stairwell, kind of like climbing the stairwell sideways down. And then, like, they hear something fall, they look down, they're like, hello? Is anyone there? And then, like two golden eyes kind of open up, and then many. And then, like, there's, like, that swarming sound as the camera is now them rushing at that one person, and we seal off those doors, because there is something that lurks in those stairwells.
Yeah.
They're a swarm.
Oh, that's horrifying.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm symbolizing that with these yellow circles.
Alright. So, tick off our Exploring the City project, and choose what you want to do on your turn.
I would like, on my turn, I'm spending my contempt token to do something selfish for my heal persona here.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to, we don't fully know if this place is safe, so under the guise of that, the person who is, kind of like starting to push for, that was pushing for, maybe we should be separate, is now pushing to get the underdwellers to move into the building to see if it'll be safe for the rest of us, for the heavy air quotes, real family.
I'm taking a contempt token for that.
Yeah,
I'm taking that contempt token.
Starting underdweller move in 3. Actually 1. I want you to resolve that.
Okay.
Next page. So yeah. Got it there.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Alright. I'm gonna draw my card. I have the Jack of Spring. You see a good omen or a bad omen. What is it? I think the bad omen is for a moment. I'm gonna draw 3 extra large black dots.
Oh, I hate that.
Right in the corner.
Thanks, right, I hate it.
Right here in the corner. Because I think for a moment, all of the electricity, all of that electrical buzz, all of automated city noises go silent.
We wake up one morning and there's nothing.
There's
And that
not
is the most jarring thing.
Oh, it's so like it is the most jarring thing in the world. And I think it clicks back on after a moment or two, but like just that moment of like you could just hear every like cricket and every echo off of all of the buildings. Ugh.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
All right. So the Underdweller move-in starts. And I think because projects always I think projects are always a step forward. That doesn't mean the whole community is happy with the results. I think the Underdwellers move in. And I think it suits their needs fairly well. You know, it's dark. There's probably like basement connections to the sewers. And that's actually what I'm going to draw. Is there are connections to the sewers on the bottom floor. Right? Like the basement has some manholes that you can get to the sewer.
Ooh, wait, so the basement as in like the basement of the building, or like, because the building's on its side, right?
Yeah. So maybe that's what, then maybe like part of the building has like fallen underground.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot. Yeah, maybe part of the building has like collapsed underground, and so there are holes into the sewers. So like, I'm going to draw some purple squares, much like our manholes from earlier, onto the building. And say that like, yeah, some of the building has like smashed through the street and has like connected the sewers. So not only so they move in, but like are able to basically form a self-sustaining community of their own, like that kind of thrives, I think.
Much to the chagrin of the person that tried to push them in there.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And I'm going to hold a discussion that says, with the declaration, we have to extinguish the swarm. There are too many threats. Threats are closing in from all sides. There's something targeting the wall. There's something There's something turning off the city. We can't have. We have to deal with the swarm. It is too close and honestly too easy. It's within our grasp to put it out.
We need to deal with the swarm. We also need more food. We need like a steady home. We need to deal with the fact that some of our people are out there. There are so many other issues that are just as unsurmountable as the swarm. If you could come up with an idea, that's fantastic. But I've got nothing to help the swarm.
Okay. Your turn.
All right. I'm afraid of the swarm. Oh, cool. Did that just work? Boop. I have revealed the king of spring. A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something expected. What is it? Or unexpected? Or an old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. What has he done? Oh, both of those are good. Okay. I think that over by our lake, a young man is a young boy is digging, and we don't know what he's digging for. He likes to dig. I'm not going to take that from him. Like, it's a weird time. There's a lot going on, and he's digging and digging and digging, and one day he hears a clink, and he stops digging. He backs up and looks in, calls other people over. And after a while, we have revealed this the same gold of the Watcher Beyond the Walls, this golden hammer. And it's like, it's wider than what you would imagine a hammer to be. It's like chunky. It is like heavy. It's emblazoned with that eye on it that Remy's group took up as their symbol. And it's underground now. It's above ground. we have it. It's holdable by a person, but we don't know anything about it. It has a name across it, and not a name, a word, and the one word across it is indifference. So I'm gonna resolve this project. Speaking of, as if like summoned by the hammer, Remy returns. They're tired. They look exhausted. They look like they've been through a lot. But her and her group return, and they tell us about some of the convenience stores, like the buildings with food that are still out there, the great art that are out there. The city still just goes on, but one thing that is a little peculiar is they are all glowing. They all emit a light, and they don't notice it. But we do. And speaking of that, I am going to start I would like to have a discussion about Indifference, the hammer.
All right.
And I'm going to ask the team, is this a weapon or is this a tool for building?
You know what they say about having a hammer. Everything looks like a nail. Maybe it's both.
I think this might be a gift from the Watcher to take on the Swarm. When we did not have an answer, she does.
All right.
That turn.
That's my turn. It's my
No, it's your turn.
Draw a card. The Five of Spring. There's a disquieting legend about this place, or alarming weather patterns destroy something.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't like it, but I know the answer. There's a mighty rain. There is a mighty rain. And it floods over. The lake floods. And it floods the sewers, and it closes off our connection to the sewers from outside. If we want to go from this, if we want to use the sewers to get outside, we have to go through the apartment complex. Which means risking running into the swarm. And also means negotiating with the apartment dwellers, who I think have closed themselves off to a certain extent.
Yeah, after how we treated them, I would understand that.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're entirely correct. But so it means negotiating with the apartment dwellers and also dealing with the risk of the swarm. And I'm going to I think I'm going to start a project. I think as we have lost... I think we have to repair the wall. I have other projects in mind, but I think we have to repair this wall. We have a hammer. And I think it's going to be a quick project. I'm going to put it at 2 weeks.
I think that's fair.
And I have drawn I've expanded the bounds of our lake to cover up our
manhole.
Our manhole. And just to kind of expanded it all around in a kind of a sloppy, floody way. All right.
Right. Let me see. You said repair the wall. You said 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Repair the wall 2. All right. So, click to draw. My next trick is the 3 of Spring. Someone new arrives who, or 2 of the community's younger members get into a fight. What provoked them? So, Remy has come back. She's returned, and she and her team, as we said, are glowing. Um, I've symbolized that by lines around the eye in the bottom left. I think there are some people here that that aren't a fan of that. There is a another person, another young person. Their name is Oliver, and they take great offense to the fact that Remy just shows back up glowing and is pretending like it's not happening, but they can see it. They see it happening, and so they approach Remy with their own posse, and the two of them kind of start to get into a scrap. Remy is trying to kind of walk around it, but the other this gang that Oliver has put together is not going to stand down. Like they are furious that Remy is to their vision keeping something from them, and so they try to fight. It is Remy, the glowing people just dominate. They are stronger. They are tougher. They are faster. They are able to put down this heavy air quotes insurrection, but there's a feeling of foreboding that kind of leaves around them now because they aren't the same as when they left. They now have these abilities, and that is frightening. So what I'm going to do next is hold a discussion, and I'm going to start with a statement. We need to send Remy and her scouts against the swarm. Give her the hammer, send her in there, problem solved.
I don't want Remy to have the hammer. I don't want... She and her crew are tough enough and strong enough. Frankly, I think we need to keep the weapons... I think we need to keep the weapons to ourselves and... just in case.
Contempt?
Okay.
Yep. Intriguing.
I've drawn the Six of Spring. Are there children in the community? If there are, what are their roles in the community? Or how old are the eldest of the community? What special needs do they have? I think we've kind of gone over the young, so I want to talk about the old. I think that as we get older in the community, I think that what we need is... What special needs do the elderly have? I think that, I'm gonna go weird with it and say, I think that as you grow older, I think you need, alright, I think I'm gonna go with the other question, because I don't think I have anything interesting for the elderly.
Maybe that's the thing, maybe we don't have any elderly in our community.
I like that. Oh no, I like that a lot. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think we have anybody over the age of 30.
Oh my god.
I think we're gonna go full Logan's Run with it. I think once you get past a certain age, at a certain point, people just disappear.
Have you ever read The Subtle Knife?
No.
It's a book in the His Dark Materials series. It's the Amber Spyglass, the Subtle Knife, and the Golden Compass. Two of those are flipped. The important thing is there is a world in the Subtle Knife where it's only populated by children, and no one knows why. But when you turn 18, you vanish. And when it turns out when you turn 18, everyone is surrounded by these horrible, terrifying monsters, and children can't see them. But when you turn 18, you can, and then they can see you. And it's like, yo, this is a children's book.
That's a children's book.
That's an idea.
Yep. I when you turn 30, you simply, vanish into the fog. And I'm just writing down 30 and drawing, a question mark. Because something happens when you turn 30. You just the fog maybe billows into the community overnight, and when it parts, there's just one person that's not there anymore.
Yep. Now, is that the last spring card?
I think there's 2 more? Because there's 13. I think there's 13, right?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so that's my card. The wall is completed. I think we're able to fortify the wall, but it has to be with wood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as strong. We don't trust it quite as much. So I've used brown instead of our gray stone. I've drawn over where the wall crumbled. I've replaced the wall. The wall is fortified. The hammer made it so easy. But it's wood. It's not stone. There just weren't the supplies to replace it, and now we don't have a wall that is as strong anymore.
We have a vulnerability.
Yes. And I am going to I'm going to discover something new. And that is, I think there's I think like a child is playing in the water, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think we've always kind of we've never had anybody go deep in the water before. We've always seen, because you could see the bottom of it. Like, you can see it. Yeah. It's a pond. It's like a city pond.
Yeah.
But somebody, actively was swimming and, saw maybe, a penny or saw something shiny at the bottom of the pond and swam to get it. And now we realize that pond is so much deeper than we thought.
Mm-hmm. They were swimming, and they kept swimming, and they kept swimming.
And eventually, after a few minutes, they came up struggling to breathe of oh my god, I thought I could get to the bottom, but I couldn't. It just always seems like it's maybe a foot or so away.
Yo. Hey,
it just
yo.
Keeps expanding. And that's our discovery. It is your turn.
Thanks, I hate it. Deal 1 card to me. Oh, ran out of cards in the deck. No, that's right. It. That's all that's in that one.
Then we move to summer.
Yep,
it is now the summer.
We are in summer now. Give me that card. And let's reveal. I've drawn the 7 of Summer. Introduce a mystery at the edge of the map, or an unattended situation becomes problematic and scary. What is it? How does it go awry? Oh, both of those are bad. Both of those are bad. I think... Oh, okay, yep. An unattended situation becomes problematic and scary. I think we go to bed one night as a community where, heading off to sleep, and everyone looks at the watcher on the wall, beyond the walls, once before. We have a big kind of thing like that, and the next morning we wake up and it's gone. The whole thing. Just gone. Just gone. We've heard... some people claim to have heard, skittering in the night, the same skittering that's heard in the stairwells of the apartment complex. But it is gone, and what is more than that, the section of city that was behind it, that, if the pedestal for the watcher on the wall is maybe 2-3 feet across, and, then 2 to 3 feet across, going back in the city, as far as you can see, is gone. It is those buildings are missing chunks of them now.
I don't like that. I don't like any part of that.
So I'm just going to draw those lines back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to blot out the Watcher. So I'm going to just straight up start a project. Waking up to that, we need to do something. I am sending Remy in with the hammer.
I'm contempt.
1 week. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to draw a summer card. I have the 8 of Summer. Someone tries to take control of the community. Why did you do this? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit out of order, because, yeah. Yep. Well, Remy's got the hammer. We're gonna end that project. Remy's come back with the hammer. I think Remy... I don't even know. You know what? I think that like Remy's crew takes like Remy leaves with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. You said Remy leaves with the hammer. Remy's crew, they sit around. They stay. And they just kind of like take over. You know, they start demanding a little extra food at dinner time, and they start dictating how things should be and what we should be doing and what projects we should be launching. And I'm going to symbolize this as they add like a second symbol. As they add to their golden eye a golden knife.
All right.
Golden knife.
The
project ends. Remy goes out with the hammer, comes back, and finds and places, I think... What does Remy find? I think she finds footprints.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. She finds just large footprints. Or rather, at least like indents, like what could be footprints. They could just be craters. They're sort of like oblong shaped and odd. They could be anything. She could be like imagining things, but they're scattered around.
Mm-hmm.
There are footprints. We know there are footprints, and I am going to hold a discussion.
Yeah, I think that's a good time. That's a good option.
We need bigger walls. There are bigger threats. We need bigger walls. Declaration.
The only option we have, wood is not going to cut it. If we are going to do bigger walls, then we need to go out there and we need to salvage what we can from the stone buildings.
Your turn.
All right. All right. The 9 of summer. A project fails. Which one? Or something goes afoul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity. There are no projects open at the moment, correct?
There are no projects open at the moment.
Sounds like something fails. Something goes wrong. I think the water that we have is no, what it is? So we had talked about that great storm that came and flooded the lake. And it hasn't been super sunny since then.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is kind of upgraded to, it was constantly sprinkling. And at this point, it is constant rain. Just downpour. And we don't, what we're living in is not cutting it anymore. We have a scarcity of housing. We need into the apartment complex or something, because we are drowning out here.
Okay.
Scarcity housing. And then also... I am going to... I think I'm going to start a project.
Okay.
I think that, Oliver, the person that fought Remy, is trying to garner support, a quiet mutiny, a quiet rebellion. So we'll call that Oliver's mutiny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put that at 6. No, at 5.
Okay.
And they're working on that quietly in the background now, because they're not going to allow these glowing individuals to take control.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What
My turn. Draw my summer card.
This game's so good.
This game's really good. I have the 6 of summer. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Outsiders arrive in the area. How many and how are they greeted?
Oh.
I think... I drew a little dot. That's fine. I think, I'm gonna throw a big twist.
Oh, please, please, please. Twists are
big
good.
Twist. My big twist? We are greeted by the swarm.
Yay!
And I mean greeted. They emerge from, they like burst from the windows and they surround, they like come, and there are so many, thousands, that like clouds of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of just linger. Almost like a cat is how I would describe it.
Mm-hmm.
They just sort of linger. Like fireflies, I would say. The cloud of the swarm just sort of like lingers. And I think they are greeted initially defensively, but with a hesitant truce. They burst forth and surround the community, and there's an initial sense of terror, and there might be some initial but people kind of scramble and take cover. People kind of crowd behind Remy and her crew, but the swarm doesn't do anything. It just lingers in the air and settles. And now we commingle. Unsure of what to do. But they're not attacking. So, Oliver's mutiny ticks down to 4, and I'm going to hold a discussion.
Gotcha.
Can we trust the swarm?
No! No! Not at all. No! They've killed some of us. Now they're safe because they're out here and we can see that they outnumber us too? No, that's wild. They're bad.
They killed some of us, but they were backed into a corner. Now in the open air, they seem fine. Any animal... I mean, we've been more than defensive, backed into our metaphorical little corner. Maybe they're just like us, and this is just their way of breaking the wall and seeing the city that lies beyond. I don't know that we should trust them. But I don't know that we shouldn't either.
All right.
Your turn.
The 5 of summer. A project finishes early. What led to its early completion? The weather
shit.
is... Yeah. I'm not even going to read the other one. That's it. That's the one. So what led to its early completion? One night, you can see Remy's group kind of doing circles around the camp because you can follow the light they emanate from their bodies. But Oliver one night they sneak out and they move from shadow to shadow and they go towards the swarm and they step into it and they speak with the swarm. We don't know what was said. No one else was in the room where it happened, but they come out with a sword and with the swarm, and they move on Remy's group fast in that night, and they strike, and I think they do overthrow Remy. I don't know if she survives. I don't know what they decide to do, but that is where we stand. They have Remy's gang captive now, and I'm also going to discover something new here and tie that in. Morning doesn't come. It's dark, and it's dark. We haven't seen the sun from the overcast in quite some time, but this is the first time that the light level doesn't change. That's my turn.
That's your turn. Fuck. All right, draw a card. Jack of Summer. predators and bad omens are... yes, that is correct. You are careless and someone goes missing under ominous circumstances. Or, what measures do you take to keep everyone safe and under surveillance? I think Oliver goes missing.
Oh no, not them.
Yep. Oliver goes missing. I think the sword is there. But Oliver isn't. I think they're just gone. No one knows, no one saw anything. I mean, it's dark. Do you want to add a sword and some darkness to the map, by the way?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I think it's just dark, and, like, everything's gone, and they're just not there. The sword is there, all of their stuff is there, but they are gone. And I am going to draw... I'm going to make some lines, I'm going to use black, and I'm going to make myself a good old-fashioned police outline.
It's a big old Buster-looking sword in the ground. All right. What a summer it has been.
It's a good old wet, hot American summer.
It's gonna be a surgical summer.
It will be. All right. That is the question. Project Dice ticks down. We don't have any projects. It would have been a great week to keep everybody safe and under surveillance, but no, Jeff. So I'm going to start a project that is, I'm going to start a project that is, with the hammer, fortify the walls. Strengthen them. Add wooden fortifications, add spikes to the walls. We're putting wooden spikes on the walls. That is the project.
I like that.
I am glad there is no contempt here.
There's no contempt. Shit's bad.
Shit's bad, and I think it's going to take 5 weeks.
I think that's good.
It's time to chop down the wood, got to put them on the walls, we have to fashion the spikes. And it's
Spike up the walls.
It's your turn.
Weeks. All right. I am looking at the 3 of summer. Summer is the time for production and tending to the earth, start a food production. Summer is the time for conquest and the gathering of might, start a project related to military readiness and conquest. Well, that seems timely. I am going to... I think with the hammer, with indifference, we realize that it can be used for building, it can be also used for blacksmithing. And so we begin to work to create more hammers with that hammer, and all of them kind of match that same glow. Like, it's not the same, but less. Every time we use the hammer to build a new weapon, the brightness dies out a little bit, but it's there. Like, there is a shine to it. And I think that'll be... I'm just going to put build holy weapons on here for 4 weeks. We're going to get everyone armed up. And for my second thing, I think I'm going to discover something new.
Okay.
And I think what I discover is, this is the eve of someone's 29th year on here with us. I think they're nervous. They don't want to go, but they have to. That's how things happen here. We don't know why, but it happens. And, the night, the end of day happens, and the morning, heavy air quotes, comes. And now, since our sense of day and time is all messed up, we see it happen. We see the fog come in. And this time, some of the swarm falls in with it. And the swarm covers the person. And then they return with 1 extra in their ranks. Every time a person has gone missing, every time a person has passed 30, they have joined the swarm. That is us.
Okay. All right. Is
Your
it
turn.
my turn?
Yep.
Great. Summer is fleet. I have the king of summer. Summer is fleeting. Discard the top 2 cards at the top of the deck and take 2 actions this week.
Yeet. Okay.
So I'm just going to draw up those 2 cards. Not even gonna look at them.
Oh,
But
yep.
the 2 actions is I'm gonna hold the discussion.
All right.
My statement is oh, this is gonna be good. No, I was gonna make it real broad, but it's gotta get real specific and real. I'm gonna spend a contempt token on this.
Oh.
This discussion is fueled by contempt. Oliver misjudged the swarm. Oliver almost sent us to war with us. Oliver led us astray. Oliver led us astray with the apartment dwellers as well. We should make right. We have to make right with the apartment dwellers. We have to rebuild that bridge.
I agree we should rebuild with the apartment dwellers. I don't think Oliver set us astray. I think Oliver was correct. And I think we should rejoin the swarm.
Okay. Did not see that coming. I'm very pleased with it.
Who we building a bridge to?
Fuck. All right. My second action, I'm going to start a project. I'm going to start a project, diplomatic meetings with the apartment dwellers. 3 weeks.
Only the apartment dwellers?
We already have the uneasy truce with the swarm. 3 weeks, apartment dwellers.
Diplomatic apartment dweller 3. All right. It's on there. I've marked down our other ones.
And that is your turn.
Okay, and you discarded 2 from the top of here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. The 10 of summer, you discover a cache of supplies or resources, add a new abundance, or a scarcity has gone unaddressed too long, start a project that will alleviate the scarcity. I think that there is a new abundance. And that abundance is connection. That abundance is unity.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are going to rejoin with the swarm. They don't come back out. The swarm grows. And there is an abundance of unity. There's an abundance of community. It's just...
Yeah.
It's that one. It's consensus.
We didn't need diplomatic relations with the swarm because the swarm
accepts us with open arms.
Yes. Okay.
And I am going to then click down our projects 2, 3, and 2. And I am going to hold the discussion.
Okay.
We need to introduce the apartment dwellers to the swarm as well. Statement.
While it is wonderful that we have struck peace with the swarm, that's not for us to decide for another community. The decision was made that the apartment dwellers were not part of our family. Therefore, it is their choice whether they join with the swarm or not. I do not want that to be something we exert on another community, on another place, on another people.
Your turn.
The eldest among you dies. What caused the death? I think, people have willingly joined with the swarm, but I think it has been, to this point, people who had been turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think what it was people had said, it is my time, I'm going to become part of the swarm.
I'm going to go out for a long walk.
Yeah. I'm going to a farm upstate. Now, for the first time, someone, like the eldest of our community, now it's 28. That number has dropped because the eldest of our community simply walked off, took a long walk, joined with the swarm. Our projects tick down, and we have a discussion. I think if we are to form this symbiotic relationship with a swarm, then we need to be able to rely on the swarm. We need the swarm to go out and see what has caused the footprints. There are more of them. They are stronger. They can take us. They can take us in a fight. We need to force them. Like they need to be exploring, and we need to find a way to like commune with them to know what is beyond these walls.
I agree. Yes, mood, okay. Big mood.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All right, and that's the end of summer.
All right. Well, let's see. We're at an hour and a. Let's call it game for now, and we'll pick up in a moment. With part 2, which will be in either next week or 2 weeks, depending on where I want our interstitial episode to drop. So we'll take a brief pause. This has been so much fun so far.
We have a good map here.
I'm loving it. Okay, so real quick, if you wouldn't mind, why don't you let people know where they can find you and your work?
If you want to find me, my friends, you can go at RevRyeBread on Twitter. That's at Rev like Reverend, Rye Bread like Rye Bread. I'm there. I'm tweeting about all the stuff I do at Alien Happy Hour. I'm tweeting about the stuff I do at Lost Library, which is an actual play podcast doing Monster of the Week. I'm tweeting about soon I'm going to be on another actual play podcast. I'm running a game of Interstitial on Got It Memorized. I'm planning on doing some sort of like Wake Up Bionicle lore podcast, but that's going to happen eventually. Most importantly, go to Kickstarter, look for Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined, to find a game that is all about the relationships we have with other people, traveling to new worlds, and just smashing things together that don't seem like they belong, wiping away that dust and seeing what happens. I love this game. I'm so excited about it, and I hope that in listening to it being played in places, you will also be excited about it.
I love it. I love it so much. And I really like Interstitial. You can find more information about it in the show notes. We will be back very shortly with part 2 of our quiet year. In the meantime, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to Riley for coming onto the show. That game was unbelievable. Be sure to check out part 2 of our quiet year adventure, available right now on the podcast feed. I think you're really going to dig it. I think it really kicks up a notch in the second half of the year. Also, be sure to check out all of Riley's work in the show notes below, especially Interstitial, Our Hearts Intertwined, currently on Kickstarter. It is a fabulous game, but you already know that because you heard it last week. You can also follow Riley on Twitter at RevRyeBread. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod, then like the show at Facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. Join our Discord community at bit.ly/PartyOfOneDiscord to talk about the show, professional wrestling, role-playing games, all of the things. And if you really enjoyed the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shoutout, or a word-of-mouth recommendation to a friend. Any of those things helps us find new listeners, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things. You can also consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. Patreon backers get access to mini podcasts, bonus materials, and interviews, and Patreon dollars help pay for, hosting fees and equipment fees, and all those other little fees that, keep the show going. It's really helpful. Again, that's patreon.com/PartyOfOnePodcast. If you want to hear more from me on a podcast, you should check out All My Fantasy Children, the character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast powered by you. Every week, my best friend Aaron Catano-Saez and I take a listener prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you're interested in coming onto the show, whether you are a podcaster, game designer, professional wrestler, writer, actor, musician, kaiju, financial guru, or you just love a good role-playing game, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.